How to recognize a toxic relationship and break free from it. This is not just a question but a call to action to protect your soul and your values. As Marcus Aurelius once said, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts, and the relationships around you deeply influence that quality. Today, I'll guide you through 10 unmistakable signs to recognize a toxic relationship and 4 powerful strategies to break free from the cycle and reclaim your mental freedom. This doesn't only apply to romantic relationships. It could be anyone, a friend, a family member, or even a colleague. Stoicism reminds us that not everyone deserves your time, energy, and mental space. There are flaws you can accept because no one is perfect. But there are also behaviors you must not ignore, as they will erode your self-esteem and inner peace. These behaviors are not the result of a single difficult moment but are persistent patterns deeply ingrained in someone's character. Remember, you cannot control the actions of others, but you always have the power to choose how to respond. And sometimes the best choice is to walk away. Now, let's look at the warning signs so you can decide with clarity and courage, because the peace in your life is always worth more than any toxic relationship. In a world where connection is essential, we must clearly distinguish between relationships that uplift us and those that drain our energy. As Epictetus once said, keep your will in harmony with nature, for when you lose it, you become a slave to others. Below are 10 detailed signs to recognize a toxic relationship, accompanied by concrete examples to help you understand them better. 1. Anger, the silent weapon of control. In a toxic relationship, anger is not just a fleeting emotion, it becomes a tool for asserting power. It can manifest in various forms: explosive outbursts, constant irritability, or prolonged resentment. Often this anger is not driven by stress or anxiety, but is deliberately used to control your behavior. In such situations, you may feel like you're constantly walking on eggshells, questioning every action or word. If I say this, will they get angry? If I do that, will it upset them? Over time, your freedom of thought and action diminishes. Uncontrolled anger drains your mental energy and traps you in a cycle of guilt and fear. Remember, a healthy relationship allows you to be yourself, not someone living in constant fear of another's temper. 2. Sarcasm, words that cut deeper than knives. Sarcasm often disguises itself as witty humor, but in reality, it's anger wrapped in subtlety. Sarcastic remarks are designed to mock or belittle, leaving the recipient feeling devalued and unsure of how to respond. It's a way for some to express dissatisfaction or resentment without openly confronting their feelings. Imagine sharing an idea you're passionate about, only to hear them reply with a smirk. "Oh, that's such a groundbreaking idea, if we were still in the 90s. While they don't directly criticize you, the message is clear: they're dismissing your idea. Frequent sarcasm erodes self-esteem and trust, making you feel that anything you say or do might be turned into a joke. True humor in a relationship should never be a weapon to undermine someone's confidence. 3. Using humor to undermine others, jokes that mask hurt. Humor is a wonderful tool for bonding, but when misused, it becomes a weapon to demean others. Unlike sarcasm, this type of humor is cloaked in a more casual, carefree manner, making it harder for you to confront without being labeled as too sensitive. These jokes often ridicule your efforts or achievements, leaving you feeling diminished. The offender might justify their words by saying, "Come on, it was just a joke. Why are you so serious?" But beneath the surface, there's often hidden disdain or bitterness. For instance, you proudly share a new recipe you tried and they respond, "Wow, it's amazing no one got food poisoning from this." Though it sounds playful, such remarks subtly degrade your efforts and leave you feeling unappreciated. Healthy humor strengthens relationships with shared laughter, not at someone's expense. If these jokes frequently make you feel disrespected, it's a sign worth noting. 4. Punitive mindset, when an apology is just a cover. A punitive mindset emerges when someone believes others deserve the negative outcomes of their actions, or that your mistakes justify their harmful responses. Instead of seeking understanding or improvement, they rationalize their anger or hurtful behavior by blaming you. After an argument, they might yell at you and hurt your feelings. When you express sadness, their response is, "Well, I'm sorry I upset you, but you made me angry. You shouldn't have provoked me." Though it may seem like an apology, they are actually justifying their actions, making you feel like the guilty party. A genuine apology acknowledges responsibility and demonstrates a commitment to change. In contrast, with a punitive mindset, apologies are merely a for assigning blame and maintaining control. If you frequently encounter such justifications, it's a clear sign of an unhealthy relationship. 5. Controlling nature when your freedom is manipulated. Control in toxic relationships often hides behind a mask of concern or good intentions. In reality, it's a way for the other person to impose their will on you, making you feel guilty if you don't comply. For example, they might say, "I don't think purple suits you." This might sound like harmless advice, but if you wear purple anyway and they react with anger, accusing you of disregarding their feelings, it's no longer just an opinion, it's control. They might even say, "If you truly cared about me, you wouldn't wear it. You don't value my opinion." In response, you might apologize. "I'm sorry, I won't wear it again." But this doesn't solve the problem. Instead, you find yourself adjusting your behavior repeatedly to avoid upsetting them. Every time you make a choice, you start to wonder, will this make them angry? Will they feel disrespected? This is not love or respect, it's control. A healthy relationship allows you to express yourself freely without fear of retaliation. Remember, control should never be disguised as love. 6. Excessive insecurity, when you become their emotional lifeline. An excessively insecure person constantly seeks validation from you to fill the emptiness they feel within themselves. The problem is, this need for reassurance is endless. It becomes a draining cycle that leaves you emotionally exhausted. They require constant affirmation, not only about your love for them, but also their worth, opinions, and way of life. Any disagreement is perceived as rejection, making them feel inadequate, and they quickly blame you for those feelings. For example, they might ask, "Do you really love me?" You respond, "Of course I do." But that's not enough. They continue, "If you love me, why don't you agree with my opinion? Why won't you do what I ask?" Any refusal or differing opinion is met with hurt feelings and blame. If you truly cared, you would have done this. This puts you in a position where you constantly agree, try to please them, and sacrifice your own feelings and desires. Over time, you lose your individuality. A healthy relationship doesn't demand that you become an endless source of reassurance. Excessive insecurity creates a pressure-filled environment where you can't grow or be yourself. Supporting someone is one thing, but no one has the right to turn you into their emotional lifeline. Stay tuned as we explore more signs of toxic relationships and practical strategies to help you break free and reclaim your peace of mind. 7. Rigid opinions when judgment becomes a barrier. Rigidity in opinions isn't just about holding on to beliefs, but about dismissing all other thoughts, creating an environment lacking respect and dialogue. Often this rigidity is a mask for a tendency to judge others, accompanied by unconstructive criticism. You share your thoughts or ideas only to have them immediately dismissed with phrases like, "I don't understand how you could think like that. That idea is ridiculous." They not only refuse to listen but make you feel that your ideas are worthless or undeserving of consideration. People with rigid opinions often leave no room for empathy or understanding because they believe their way of thinking is the only valid one. This can stifle your voice in the relationship, making you feel dismissed or disregarded. A healthy relationship requires flexibility and the ability to listen. If you constantly feel judged or criticized for your opinions, it's a sign of disrespect and something worth reconsidering. 8. Manipulators, the art of controlling emotions. Manipulators don't use physical force or obvious power to control you. Instead, they exploit your emotions and psychology, often making you feel guilty or confused enough to yield. How do they do this? One common tactic is using conditional phrases like, "If you really love me, then you'll do this." This forces you to prove your love or care by doing what they ask, regardless of how comfortable you feel. Manipulators don't accept a no. If you refuse, they persist until you feel pressured and exhausted. Imagine you refuse to move in together because you don't believe in cohabitation before marriage. They don't stop there. They repeatedly ask, "Why don't you want to? Where did that idea come from? Is it really your opinion or just what your parents told you?" They dismiss your reasons, making you feel like you have no valid argument to defend your position. After repeated pressure and dismissal, you may feel worn out and give in just to end the argument. This tactic leaves you feeling as if you have no choice or independent decision-making power. Manipulation is not just about words, but also about continuous pressure and repeating demands until you surrender. Remember, a healthy relationship never forces you to do something you don't want to do or makes you feel manipulated. Respect and freedom are essential elements that need to be protected in any relationship. 9. Self-centeredness when giving comes with conditions. A self-centered person often prioritizes their own needs and desires, making the relationship imbalanced. They may take more than they give, and even when they do give, it's often not unconditional. Their giving happens only when they feel they've received enough from you beforehand or when it serves their own interests. They might help you with an important task and then say, "I sacrificed my time to help you. You should be grateful and not forget this." Even when you express gratitude, they may still complain. "Next time, handle it yourself. I can't always help you." The biggest issue with these types of people is that they often feel they've done too much, even when they haven't. They easily see themselves as victims if you don't respond enough, leading to accusations or blaming. You may start to feel that anything they do for you comes at a price, not money, but emotional hurt or a sense of indebtedness. In such a relationship, you'll gradually become tired and lose the joy of receiving help from them, as you always have to mentally prepare for complaints or a feeling of being bound. This situation makes it difficult to appreciate genuine support and can lead to dissatisfaction in the relationship. Remember, true giving isn't a tool for control or creating guilt. A healthy relationship is one where both parties willingly support each other without expecting immediate reciprocation or creating a sense of obligation. 10. Always needing to have the upper hand, a game that's never fair. People who constantly seek to have the upper hand often have a warped worldview, believing that if they don't take the advantage first, others will exploit or hurt them. They view every situation as a game where the goal is to win at all costs, regardless of how it affects others. They try to shape interactions, conversations, or decisions in a way that benefits them the most. Even in small matters like sharing a meal or arranging a meetup, they make sure they gain more. This creates a sense of imbalance and lack of sincerity in the relationship. For example, you might offer to help them with something small, but instead of thanking you, they turn your offer into a deal that benefits them more. They might say, "If you're doing this for me, then you should also do this for me next time." Or they might ask for help with a much bigger project, making you feel like you're trapped by your initial good intentions. If you grew up in an environment with people displaying such behaviors, you might find yourself attracted to similar individuals, even if you don't like how they act. This is because controlling and exploiting behavior can create a sense of familiarity, even if it's unhealthy. Over time, you may feel exhausted from always trying to level the playing field in a relationship that was never balanced to begin with. Remember, a healthy relationship is not one where gains and losses are constantly measured, but where both parties build mutual respect and support each other. If you find that someone is always trying to win in every situation, it might be time to reconsider the value of that relationship. And when you realize that you are stuck in a toxic relationship from the signs above, what should you do next? Don't panic. Awareness is the first step toward change. Below are 4 practical steps to help you break free from this relationship and reclaim your freedom. 1. Pause interaction to gain clarity. The first step in dealing with a toxic relationship is to create distance. Pause meeting or contacting the person to give yourself time and space for reflection. During this period, ask yourself, how do I feel when I'm away from them? Is there anything in this relationship that makes me feel nostalgic or comfortable? Try to analyze not only the negative aspects but also the positive ones the relationship may bring. Here's what you can do. Set a specific period, such as a few weeks or months, to limit interaction as much as possible. During this time, focus on your emotions and write down your thoughts in a journal or notes. This distance will help you view the relationship from a different angle, free from immediate emotional influence. It gives you clarity on what this relationship is truly adding to your life, whether it's support or just suffering. Remember, distance doesn't mean the end, it's an opportunity for you to reassess things fairly and mindfully. 2. Set boundaries to protect yourself. When a toxic relationship starts to erode your self-esteem and mental health, creating emotional distance is a critical step to protect yourself. This doesn't mean you have to completely cut them off or become cold, especially in close relationships like with a spouse or family. Instead, it requires you to establish strong mental boundaries that prevent you from getting caught up in the negative cycle. If the person is your partner, seeking professional support, such as marriage counseling or therapy, may be a necessary step to improve the relationship. However, even if you choose to work together on change, you still need to create a safe space for yourself. This isn't about distance, but about consciously protecting yourself from negative influences. In situations where you often face criticism or doubt, learn to reduce the significance of those negative opinions. Remind yourself that the other person's words are just their personal perspective, not the truth. When you stop letting criticism define you, you'll begin to experience inner peace and maintain your self-worth without being overly influenced. Even in the closest relationships, you still need space for your own thoughts and emotions. This isn't about keeping secrets, but about maintaining independence in your thinking. Not every thought or feeling of yours needs to be shared or aligned with the other person. Keeping some thoughts private isn't just a right, it's the foundation for maintaining balance in the relationship. Remember, protecting your mental space doesn't diminish the value of the relationship. On the contrary, it helps you maintain your self-respect and autonomy. Mental and emotional independence is the key to building a healthy, lasting relationship. 3. Reflect on your role in the relationship. In a toxic relationship, sometimes we inadvertently contribute to the tension without realizing it. Perhaps you often provoke arguments, causing the other person to get angry, or respond negatively to retaliate for the hurt they caused you. For example, you might treat your mother the way she treated you, as a way to express your dissatisfaction. Such behaviors, even though they feel justified emotionally, perpetuate the negative cycle in the relationship. It's important to ask yourself, why am I staying in this relationship? Sometimes the reason isn't a healthy attachment, but a familiarity with pain or a false belief that things will change. Once you realize how you're contributing to the issue, changing your behavior can lead to significant results. Instead of responding negatively to negativity, try stopping your usual reactions and observe how the relationship transforms. When you change, the structure of the relationship will also shift. The negative dynamics that once maintained it gradually lose their power, and you begin to break free from the toxic cycle. The relationship might even naturally dissolve because you no longer play a part in that pattern. Your change will not only bring freedom to yourself, but also liberate you from the emotional traps that once held you down. 4. Seek professional help when you can't solve it alone. When relationship issues become severe, especially in marriage or family, seeking support from professionals is a necessary step. A counselor or therapist can serve as an unbiased mediator, helping you and the other person see both sides of the issue, something that may be hard to recognize in the heat of a conflict. In cases where the relationship isn't a marriage, you can still work with a therapist individually to explore the blind spots in your thoughts and behavior. They will help you identify how you may have inadvertently contributed to the problem and provide specific guidance for change. A therapist or coach is not just someone who listens, but also a guide who helps you develop strategies to deal with a toxic relationship. By seeking professional help, you not only solve current issues but also learn how to build healthier relationships in the future. Remember this clearly: you do not have to accept staying in a relationship that hurts you. By recognizing the signs of toxicity and taking steps to change, you are empowering yourself to live a peaceful and fulfilling life. Keep in mind that creating distance, reflecting on your role, and seeking support are courageous steps. No one has the right to erode your self-esteem or happiness. If you feel stuck, remind yourself that you always have the power to choose something better. Love yourself enough to let go of what no longer serves your growth and peace of mind. Thank you for watching today's video. If you found this content helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss the next videos. Stay strong and continue your journey toward inner peace. I'll be here to support you. See you in the next video.